All right, council members, it's 6:01 p.m. I'd like to call the voting session to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic.
Recording in progress.
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right. Roll call, please, Ms. Lawrence.
Mr. Hawes.
Here.
Ms. Krasnowski. Mr. Lescavage. Ms. McDermott. Mr. Perry. Mr. Sabatino.
Here.
Ms. Smith. Ms. Stevenson. Mr. Thornton.
Here.
Mr. Wilovich.
Here.
Mr. Lombardo.
Here.
10 of 11.
Thank you very much. All right, we have 3 proclamations before we begin with the agenda. First, we have Child Abuse Prevention Month proclamation. Whereas Luzerne County Children and Youth Services investigated 8,841 cases of child abuse and neglect this past year, and whereas Luzerne County Children and Youth Services provided information and referral services to 4,414 families, connecting families with community agencies that are partners with the agency in the prevention of abuse and neglect. And whereas children are our most valuable resource and will shape the future of our community, state, and country. And whereas child abuse can have long-term psychological, emotional, and physical effects and can have lifelong consequences for victims of abuse. And whereas effective child abuse prevention activities succeed because of the meaningful connections and partnerships created between child welfare, education, health, community, and faith-based organizations, businesses, and law enforcement agencies. And whereas communities must make every effort to promote programs and activities that benefit children and their families. And whereas we acknowledge that we must work together as a community to increase awareness about child abuse and continue to promote the social and emotional well-being of children and families in a safe, stable, nurturing environment. And whereas April is National Child Abuse Prevention Month, this month and throughout the year, Luzerne County Children and Youth Services encourages all individuals and organizations to play a role in making Luzerne County a better place for children and families by ensuring parents have the knowledge, skills, and resources they need to care for their children. We can promote children's well-being and prevent child maltreatment within families and communities. Now, therefore, we, the Luzerne County Council, do hereby express our gratitude to the employees of Luzerne County Children and Youth Services and their community partners for their dedication and commitment to protecting children and strengthening families in their work to prevent child abuse and neglect, and do hereby proclaim the month of April in the year of 2025 as Child Abuse Prevention Month in Luzerne County, and urge all citizens to recognize this month by dedicating ourselves to the task of child abuse prevention. Thank you very much. Yep. Just make sure it's on. Thank you.
On behalf of and the youth and families that we serve in Luzerne County, I would just like to thank council members for your continued support for our agency. And just a special note that we are hosting several activities throughout the month of April to promote the awareness of child abuse. We are having a halfway to Halloween trunk or treat on April 26th. Thank you again for all your continued support.
Thank you very much. And thank you for all you do. Next up,
if anybody has Halloween costumes that are lightly used, or even if you want to bring new ones to CYS that they can then distribute to the children, that would be really, really great.
Are we allowed to wear a Halloween costume during the trunk or treat? Okay.
Yes.
Is there a theme?
It's at the agency. No.
All right.
Yeah.
Kevin wears his every 2 weeks to this council.
And the trunk or treat is at the parking lot right next to the agency, to 111. Okay?
Thank you. All right, next up we have a proclamation for National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week from the 911 department. Whereas emergencies can occur at any time that require police, fire, or emergency medical services, and whereas the safety of our first responders is dependent upon the quality and accuracy of information obtained from citizens who telephone the Luzerne County Community Communications Center, And whereas public safety telecommunicators are the first and most critical contact our citizens have with emergency services. And whereas public safety telecommunicators are the single vital link for our first responders by monitoring their activities by radio, providing them information and ensuring their safety. And whereas each telecommunicator has exhibited compassion, understanding, and professionalism during the performance of their job. Now, therefore, we, the Luzerne County Council, do hereby proclaim the week of April 13th, 2025 to be National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week in Luzerne County in honor of the men and women whose diligence and professionalism keep our county and citizens safe. Thank you very much.
And we'll be celebrating that all next week at 911, correct, Lucy? And please attend. And Councilman Thornton, they will have a food there.
I already verified that.
Okay, just want to make sure.
Thank you.
Get there before I do, 'cause there won't be any left.
All right, we have one more proclamation for Brian Black, Trainer of the Year Award from the PA APCO Proclamation. Whereas Brian Black, Quality Assurance and Training Coordinator, has demonstrated exceptional dedication and leadership over the course of his distinguished 27-year career at Luzerne County 911. And whereas Mr. Black has made significant contributions to the improvement and advancement of Luzerne County's 911 operations. And whereas, in addition to Mr. Black's remarkable professional accomplishments, he consistently exceeds expectations by dedicating extra time and effort to ensure the success of various projects and daily operations. And whereas Mr. Black's unwavering commitment to excellence in training, leadership, and service is a reflection of his deep sense of duty to the community and his colleagues. And whereas Mr. Black was nominated and has been selected to receive the prestigious Trainer of the Year Award from the Pennsylvania chapter of the Association of Public Safety Communications Officials. Now, therefore, we, the Luzerne County Council, do hereby recognize and congratulate Mr. Brian Black on his accomplishment of being selected as the APCO Trainer of the Year and his continued dedication to the citizens of Luzerne County. Thank you very much once again.
I just want to say, I occasionally go over to 911 and drop by to say hello. I probably should go more often because I really do love it over there, and EMA. But every time I go over there and Brian's there, he always greets me with a smile, which a lot of people in the county don't. So it's greatly appreciated, Brian. But seriously, I asked him a question, and he's very helpful. The one time I was able to sit in on some training, watching a new group come in, and Brian really is an effective teacher, because that's really what a trainer is, and he does it really well. And we are very fortunate to have him here. So thank you, Brian.
Thank you. All right. Are there any deletions from our voting session agenda? Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
All right, the agenda is adopted. We'll now have public comment on agenda items only. I have Mr. Troy. I'm not sure if this is going to be for voting session or work. Yeah, he's outside. Mr. Troy? I think he's out there. It says agenda item, but he's coming? Okay. All right. Mr. Troy, is this for an agenda item? The microphone's... Okay. All right, thank you. All right, anybody else for public comment on agenda items in the audience? Anybody on the Zoom for agenda items? All right. Hearing none, we'll move on. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of the March 25th, 2025 voting session?
So moved.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Minutes are approved. Move on to the agenda, which is super short today, thankfully. First, we have a motion to adopt the resolution approving a modification to an American Rescue Plan Act funds awarded project for Michael C. Beloga, the Foot and Ankle Center.
On the question,
We need a first and a second.
sorry.
That's okay.
Motion.
Second,
Motion and a second.
on the question.
Go ahead, Ms.
I
Stevenson.
recall early, or at the end of last year where we had Foot and Ankle come to council and they made a request. I remember the actual owner of the business wasn't available and their son actually spoke, if I'm correct. So did we not take money back from this organization?
Ms.
from this
Sparich, would you
business?
like to expand on what occurred?
There was, they had requested an extension, a period of performance extension, which was not granted. However, when Booth was up for some monitoring visits, she stopped in there and, conducted some monitoring. And there were expenses that the doctor had incurred prior to the deadline, prior to the period of performance. So this is a budget modification to just move those funds around.
Okay, thank you.
And I believe Dr. Beloga is here. Oh, there he is.
Okay. All right. Any other questions from council members? You sure, Brian? Okay. All right, there's a motion and a second. Roll call?
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Ms. Krasinski? Yes. Mr. Liscavige? Yes. Ms. McDermott? Yes. Mr. Perry? Yes. Mr. Sabatino?
Yes.
Ms. Stevenson?
Yes,
Mr. Thornton?
Yes.
Mr. Wilovich?
Yes.
Mr. Lombardo?
Yes.
Unanimous.
Thank you. Number 2, motion to adopt the resolution approving a modification to an American Rescue Plan Act funds awarded project for the Lower South Valley Council of Governments.
So moved.
So moved.
All right.
second,
Motion and a second. Roll call?
Ms. Krasinski? Yes. Mr. Liscavige? Yes. Ms. McDermott? Yes. Mr. Perry? Yes. Mr. Sabatino?
Yes.
Mr. Thornton?
Yes.
Mr. Wilovich?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mr. Lombardo?
Yes.
Unanimous.
All right, thank you very much. That concludes our agenda items. We'll now have public comment on non-agenda items. Mr. Troy?
Not familiar with the protocol here, but I'm commenting on items that are going to be voted on next meeting, right? Is that correct?
You can,
Including
sir.
the coyote hunt?
Sure. Mr. Troy, you live in Wilkes-Barre City, correct?
What's that?
You live in Wilkes-Barre City?
Yes,
Okay, just making sure.
Wilkes-Barre.
All right.
I did have a comment on the, there is on the agenda, this is non-agenda, obviously. The tax break for that, first of all, just a fleeting comment on that. There is an item, I can't see them all at once, but there is an item on here for approval of a tax break for some company in Hazel Township, correct?
It's
For
a,
next,
it's a modification to an existing LERTA.
well, let me just comment on this business of, I've never seen, by the way, I didn't really know that the county owned any lands anymore, and I see that there's permission. Who is seeking permission? Is it a local group of hunters, or? And I would wonder why. I would want to come out against. I want to come out and advocate that the county deny permission for this. I don't know what the rationale is. It seems to me, I mean, I'm not a hunter, and hunters are a select group, and they always claim there's an overpopulation or there's a threat to some other form of wildlife. But whatever the case here, I usually perceive it as being exaggerated, this sort of rationale that people use to hunt. And I can guarantee you, how much time I got, by Bill? 1 minute or two?
You got a minute left, sir.
these claims are exaggerated, if that's the rationale. And I think the rationale should be listed, or at least council members be made aware of this. This is probably the only item I'm going to get to. These animals, I guarantee you, if there was enough research done by DEP or whoever, would find that they're probably on the precipice of being endangered, if they're not in danger already. So I don't know what the rationale is here, but I'm totally against the county granting any group, coterie or whatever, when you call them, a select group of people, to try to satisfy some sort of urge and claim they are doing some good in terms of a balance of nature. In fact, it's the opposite, in my mind, and from the research that I've done. So to advocate for this sort of thing, this hunt, I think is totally irrational, and it's immoral. It's ethical. It's unethical, because these creatures are struggling just like you and I and everybody else, and have a right to live, and they are important in the balance of nature.
Thank you, Mr. Troy.
It's time already?
Yep,
I think
3
you should
minutes.
expand the time, Mr. Thornton.
Anybody else for public comment in the audience?
There's an additional public comment session later on.
Yeah, you can come back up again, Mr. Troy, if you have another comment to make about another item. Anybody else in the audience? Okay, we have one on the Zoom. Mr. Mark?
Mr. Chairman, this is Mark Rebo, Hazelton speaking.
Mr. Rabo, we can barely hear you. I'm not sure what's going on with your microphone.
Mr. Chair, can you hear me now?
It's not much better.
All right, hold on. Let me try to get off the Bluetooth. Can you hear me now, Mr.
Yeah,
Chairman?
we can hear you a little bit better now.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is in regards to the subdivision, the modification of the LERTA in South Hazelton. This issue is a very touchy and a very personal subject, not only to me, but the people who reside in South Hazelton. This has been a reoccurring scar that comes up every now and again. And I understand that the political class of, the Hazelton area and Luzerne County have fond memories of this property and parcel, because it spawned the political career of a state representative who represented the Hazelton area, who is now a county court of common pleas judge. So I know how delicate in terms of the balance of this situation is. But in all honesty, Mr. Chairman and members of council and County Manager Crocomo, this parcel needs to be broached with the proper sensitivity, especially with the people of Hazelton, considering the fact that they've been screwed royally over this property for nearly 25, probably 30, actually nearly 30 years. So for this, and I'm not blaming the current developer. I just want to make that abundantly clear. The current developer has it was brought in at the last minute, at the 11th hour. I'm talking about the previous developer and previous owner of the parcel, who dumped the river dredge from New York and the old Yankee Stadium into an unlined pit with also contaminated drill bits from fracking that were put into that. And Mr. Chair, yourself and members of council should ask the current developer if DEP asked if these mitigating circumstances with the contaminants that were dumped into the old city landfill was actually removed or is actually contained before breaking ground on this property, because that will breach the groundwater, thereby contaminating the groundwater and causing a very big problem, if there isn't already a big problem, with the drinking water for the people of the southern Hazelton city. Mr. Chair, this needs to be not about just economic development. This is one of those issues, Mr. Chairman, where you and council have to broach this in a balanced manner. And I stress balanced manner. I hope I made myself clear. And as far as the coyotes go, that's an aftermath of the displacement because of the 12 warehouses that are being developed in the area near shed land, as I've said for the past few years. So that also needs to be brought into consideration. And I hope the vice chair and the members of the Act 13 committee can maybe look into vector control. As I said to County Manager Crocomo, that needs to happen because of all the wildlife displacement that's going on with the development
Thank
of
you,
these,
Mr. Rabo.
these warehouses. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Anybody else on the Zoom for public comment? Is there a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right,
Aye.
the voting session is adjourned at 6:21. Can we just go right into the work session? Is that okay with everybody?
Yes.
All righty. Perfect. All right. It's 6:21 p.m. I'd like to call the work session to order. Moment of silence. Roll call, please. Ms. Lawrence?
Mr. Haas.
Here.
Ms. Krasinowski. Mr. Liscavige. Ms. McDermott. Mr. Perry. Mr. Sabatino.
Here.
Ms. Smith. Ms. Stevenson. Mr. Thornton.
Here.
Mr. Wilovich. Mr. Lombardo.
Here.
10 of 11.
All right, thank you. Any additions or deletions from the work session agenda? Is there a motion to adopt?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Agenda is adopted. We'll start with division reports.
I want to remind council that when they review the division reports, if they have any questions or concerns, they can text me, call me, email me, and if you have any questions tonight, please let me know.
I just want to mention one thing very briefly, sort of related to the division reports. I attended the Bureau of Elections Logic and Accuracy testing today. There weren't many members of the public there. Actually, there were. I did attend it along with several other election board members, and I thought that Ms. Cook and Mr. Hahn did a very good job of explaining the process. There were some new things to learn that I definitely learned when I was there. I asked a few questions, and as always, they do a great job. So if you have an opportunity and you have questions about Election Day, about mail-in voting, about the process of proofing the ballots, please feel free to attend one of those seminars. They're very, very informational. So, like I said, I had a good experience at it today, as I always do, but I just wanted to make mention of that. Mr. Haas?
I have a question, Mr. Chair, actually. So the run-back machines that the Bureau wanted to select, I don't know if we could get an overview of the process sometime. It doesn't have to be right now, but maybe if Ms. Cook wants to explain that sometime, or I don't know if that's your purview.
Are you referring to the okay.
Yeah.
Well, we did have a public demonstration, and I thought that was it was a good turnout. The company reached out to us, and if we use them, we pay $12,000 for the use of those that machine. If we don't, we send it back, and there's no charge for that. So if you want to, Councilman Hawes, if you want to come to the Penn Place building, we'll show you how it works. It seems to add another level of security. Of course, the board has determined that Dropbox will be used, and they will be voting on whether this particular model will be used. It's a very small slot that the ballot is, you put the ballot in, they take a picture of the back and front of the ballot envelope, not the ballot itself, but the ballot envelope. There is a camera that photographs the individual putting the ballot envelope into the machine, and it will give a message that the ballot was accepted. The Bureau staff will then go downstairs, open up the back of the machine. It has a container like we use in the other drop boxes. Take those envelopes, those ballot envelopes, and they count them upstairs. So we will have our regular video cameras that are already in place at Penn Place. The The new machine, if it is used, will be placed right across from the sheriff's station. So it's a decision up to the board whether they want to use that or not.
Is that next meeting of the
Yes.
board coming up? Okay.
Voting on it. But we wanted to demonstrate it. Certainly, we're not going to make that decision of using that particular model. That's something that the board needs to decide on.
Very good. Thanks for the clarification.
Mr. Liscavige.
Is there any way they can demonstrate that here at a regular meeting in the work session? Only because,
We'd have to move the machine.
Maybe we can have an evening time where it can be possibly demonstrated.
Yes, I'll check to see if we can move it here, if the company's here. I don't want to damage the machine.
It's
Right.
it's like 7 feet tall. It's big.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's not like a mailbox.
yeah, I mean, but we can set something up that if you want to go to Penn Place,
Yeah.
We'll show council members.
yeah, that would fit. I mean, if we
Yeah.
had evening hours.
Yes, we'll do
You
that.
know.
We can do that. We can do that. As I said at the demonstration, if people are angry or upset with me, they can open the back and just shove me into the back of it. It's pretty big. But we'll set something up. We'll get times, and absolutely, you can see it demonstrated. There are some challenges with it. I didn't actually use it, try to use it. Councilman Sabatino did.
Yeah, it was a little difficult getting the ballot in. They have like a tiny gap that if you go in at the wrong angle, it gets caught in this little gap. So like it took me 3 or 4 tries to get it in, and then, but I mean, once you like know to go like straight across with it, the machine, the opening is just about the size of the envelope. So you wouldn't be able to fit more than one in at a time. And then it just does what it scans the outer envelope, the outside of the ballot like envelope, the first one, not the secret ballot envelope on the inside. And then like I happened to come back downstairs when they had the machine fully open, and I watched them do an envelope without with the box open. So it's pretty secure. I mean, I found it to be interesting that like all it was a little tiny gap, maybe about 1/4 of an inch, and that's where it was getting caught on. But other than that, it worked really well.
Does it have a fault code built in if somebody were to block the camera?
Well, we
That I
would
don't
know
know.
because we could review that. Matter of fact, the controller put in the fact sheet that we distributed, and it won't be counted as a ballot envelope. So there are these mechanisms to do that, and we do have the video cameras surrounding. I don't want to say where they are exactly on the first floor of Penn Place, but we'll have those as well.
If I could, Mr. Chair?
Yeah.
And Mill, the firm just reached out to us?
Yes.
Just to try this? What, did it reach out to other counties? Like, how did we
I
get
think
the?
it's in Sacramento
Okay.
and Cook County. I don't know about any other. They're the counties, the areas that Director Cook indicated to me. I don't know if they reached out to any other counties.
All right, which is very interesting.
It is, and really the board has to decide whether they want to use it or not.
Okay, very good. All right,
And
thank you.
I actually happened to be there when they were setting up the machine, not the day of the demonstration, but they did sort of demonstrate the capabilities. They explained them to me. I was there when some of the individuals from Runback were actually there, and I asked quite a few questions. I was, I have an opinion about drop boxes myself, but I definitely felt that there were some security measures in there that I think are worth seriously considering if drop boxes are going to continue being a part of our elections here in Luzerne County for the time being. So,
Means
yeah.
a lot, thank you.
yep. Anybody else? Any questions? Any questions on anything not related to that? Go ahead.
Yes, not related. I don't know if I had missed this, but I was just looking at the GIS and mapping, and it says that a senior analysis began student shadow or independent study project with Wilkes University. So you have a student here working in GIS that's actively getting hands-on experience. That is awesome. I thought that was really great, and I wanted to acknowledge that. So that's fabulous.
Okay. Anybody else for division reports?
I think just one more, I'm sorry, it's a very brief agenda tonight, but Milda, how are we looking for the spring schedule for road and bridge? Or do we have anything like where's the starting line for this season? Can you give us hope? Thanks, Michelle. We're already getting phone calls about the potholes. You know, tis the season, right? So, yeah.
Manager Crocomo did also mention, I think, in her State of the County report that we have $20 million of road repairs and road
Yes.
construction that'll be going on this year?
Yes.
Is that something like that? Yeah.
Yeah, that's about the figure, and I believe it's the most projects that we're doing probably in 10 years, maybe even longer.
Yeah. All right. Yep. Okay, moving on. Number 2, discussion regarding the resolution authorizing the county manager to execute a contract with Pennsylvania Economy League for preparation of a strategic plan and 5-year financial plan. Oh, is the mic on?
Sorry about that.
Thank you, Ms. Barrett.
A few months ago, we were here to ask your permission to submit an application to the Department of Community and Economic Development for funding to do the 5-year plan for the county. So we went through an RFP process before we came to you, so we knew what kind of costs we were talking about. We had selected PEL. We have finally gotten our fully executed contract from the Department of Community and Economic Development. So tonight, we're asking you to approve with the Pennsylvania Economy League. I have Vinny here from PEL. If you have any questions for him, anything related to this project.
Mr. Thornton?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. No, I'm just curious. I don't remember in the past this coming up, so I'm kind of naive in the area. So we hire a firm, I take it, to prepare and put together a strategic plan and a 5-year financial plan?
Correct.
So-
And the last one was done, oh my God, I think Mary was about 10 years old. The last 5-year plan is outdated.
So, the financial plan, I'm just trying to think, and I guess I don't know enough about budget and finance
Well,
department.
I mean, believe me, I can spend money, but I'm not a budget and finance person.
Yeah,
But,
I'm wondering how they come up with
they-
their strategy.
The last time it was done, and you can jump in if I'm wrong, but I mean, like, they would meet with all the departments, you look at the budgets, I don't know if you want to.
Okay.
This
thanks.
is a part of the project that we're going to review our assets and do a space study. And my understanding is that the Pennsylvania Economy League will reach out to each department and they'll do an assessment of their needs. This is the first phase of that grant. A report will be generated, and then there's a second phase of the grant that we would have to apply for, which is putting the suggestions in action and actually doing the suggestions. But go ahead, Vinny.
Thank you. So there's 3 prongs to the STAMP project. The first is looking at finances. We will take a look at historics, both expenses and revenue, and map out what has happened over the last 5 years. And then we take all of that and create projections based on our assumptions, your assumptions of where the county is going to be going. That is coupled with looking at best practices and doing interviews with department heads and folks that work for the government, potentially you all, I'm assuming you all also, to get an understanding of what's going on government-wise, where can improvements be made, what kinds of concerns, issues do you all see, and how can we make any improvements? And the third prong of it is a review of collective bargaining agreements and labor, where we have a labor lawyer that comes in, will review everything. We take it all together to provide a final report to you all. It's a very collaborative process. We won't surprise council with anything. We want to make sure that our recommendations are in line with any recommendations that you all have. It's really just one mechanism, one avenue to get a better handle on efficiency and effectiveness in government, and are there any improvements that can be made?
And the report is public.
The report is public, yeah. Yeah.
Mr. Thornton?
Yeah, thank you. I would hope that part of the plan would include consideration of what I deem as the white elephant in the county, and that would be our very much outdated prison. The structure of our prison is very, very old and lends itself to a lot of trouble spots in the prison, physical blind spots and whatnot. And we've had auditors and inspectors come in and point that out to us many
Yeah.
times over. So I brought this up a couple of years ago with the previous county manager several times at public meetings. I sort of just got the brush off, yeah, we'll look at it, yeah. But you know what? We had, unfortunately, some deaths that occurred, fatalities in there. One was a correctional guard himself, a number of years, not, maybe 6, 7, 8 years ago, and a young man, and partially I would attribute that to the age of the prison.
Sure.
And the fact that today they don't build prisons vertically up in the air.
Right.
For obvious reasons. And we have this old prison that presents many, many challenges. So I would hope there's some thought and consideration about, I don't care if it's 4 years down the road, 5 years down the road, we can't keep kicking the can down the road, and something needs to be addressed with that.
Yeah.
May not have all the answers.
Sure.
But something needs to be said about it.
Yeah, I have to speak with my team to see what role the prison's going to play in the project. It is certainly something that we will keep in our mind and provide consideration for. Like Romilda said, a big chunk of this is the next phases from STAMP, and those can also fund additional studies and additional understandings of specific areas. So the prison may be one of those areas that should have an entire study to get a better understanding of physical infrastructure, what any potential costs. We're not an architecture firm, so I can't provide information on what it would
I
take
understand,
to-
you can't go into that creative detail on
Right.
it, but I'll be looking for that in your
Sure,
plan.
that's good to know,
For
and
something
we'll
to
certainly
address
keep that in mind.
with that.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, any other comments?
I know that there'll be, I've already started compiling a list of areas that I would like them to concentrate on. So if you want to send me, the prison is already on that list, or at least the strategic plan of how we're going to, raise funds to pay for the prison. Maybe not the exact plans, but if there's anything that you want us to include, please send it to me, and I'll add that to the list.
And our first step is a kickoff meeting, and we will capture all that information also. So if there are specific things, we are always open to getting a better understanding from council and from department heads of what are the specific issues and priorities that you have.
Ms. McDermott?
Just a question on how the Pennsylvania Economy League was, how you chose.
We had an RFP process, and we had a committee set up.
There was an RFP that was done back in February of 2024. There were 5 respondents. The committee recommended that we interview 3 of those, which we did, and this was, it was ranked, and we went with PEL, and that price was based on, our PEL's price was what we based our application on. So we got half from DCED to pay for PEL, and the county had agreed to match the other half.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, thank you very much. Number 3, discussion regarding the resolution committing a local match for state operating assistance for Hazleton Public Transit. Oh, Mr. Sabatino.
Hi.
All right.
I actually have something positive to report on this. I had a pretty good interaction with one of the commissioners from Carbon County who's open to starting to contribute their share of the match for this. And Romilda and I have like spoken to him, and we're going to set up a meeting to go and talk to him further about it. He would like to phase it in, though, over time.
Right.
So that was a positive thing about this, you know?
Okay.
All right, we have meetings set up with, actually, we have a meeting set up with one of the Carbon County commissioners to discuss various issues. This is one of them. And another county, Carbon County commissioner reached out to me because we share a bridge with Carbon County. So we'll be meeting with him. But I think we're going to get some movement from Carbon County. And I don't believe Ralph Sharp is here today. I will take responsibility for that because I did not advise him to be here. I didn't call him to be here. So I apologize for that. Probably tired of being beat up, yeah. Mhm. So we'll invite him the next session.
All right. Any other questions, comments? All right. Thank you very much. Number 4, discussion regarding permission to hunt coyote on county-owned property.
Go ahead, Jimmy, you
Mr.
tell
Sabatino?
everybody.
For everyone tonight. Number 1, we don't own the land. It is actually the land that the data center for Hazelnut is going to be built on. So
Okay.
we can't give permission to hunt on that land.
Okay.
But I did have a conversation with somebody from the Game Commission who asked us not to get involved with this, like not to give permission of this nature. And he gave me a pretty good rundown of the history of the coyote population in Pennsylvania. And at this point, according to the Game Commission, the coyote population is on the decline. So he asked that we not give permission to hunt. And I found that out before I found out we didn't own the land, so.
Okay.
But we don't own that land. It's Hazleton City Authority owns a chunk of it that goes around the warehouses, and then the rest of it is where Hazelnut is going to be built.
Okay. Attorney Skeen, I have just a quick question about that. So was this double-checked through the Office of Law or through like GIS or anything before we ended up having this on the agenda?
The person wanting to do the hunt was told by DEP that it was our property. So
Understood.
that's why they contacted us.
Okay.
But it may have been a confusion that it was actually Hazelton's property and not our property.
Okay, understood. Okay. All right, well, any other, I guess there's no more discussion on that. Okay. All right, thank you. Number 5, discussion regarding resolution amending resolution R 2021-04, which provided tax exemption for new construction. All right. Yep, just gotta hit the button on the side. No.
Okay. My name is David Schutte. I'm with the law firm of Troutman Pepper Locke, and we represent Hazelton Creek Commerce Center Holdings, LLC. With me this evening is Wendy Fulton. She's with the Keith Corporation, which is the developer of the Hazelton Creek Commerce Center. The Keith Corporation is a national industrial and retail developer based in Charlotte, North Carolina, and recently became the developer of the project, as well as an affiliate of the Keith Corporation is the managing member of the LLC. Before our involvement in the matter, the project received a LRTA approval from the county, the school district, and the township for a 10-year exemption from the improvements, typical for a LRTA resolution. And when we were reading through the LRTA resolution, we noted that that there's a kind of a cross default for if the owner does not pay the land taxes, that the LRTA exemption could be removed from the entire project. Because it appears now that the project is going to be subdivided into 6 lots with 5 buildings, we think it's going to be kind of unfair. There'd be kind of a cross default for if one owner fails to pay the land taxes, that the other owners would be penalized by losing their LERTA exemption. So upon that realization, I sent an email to Attorney Skeen asking if we could modify the language slightly. I prepared a draft resolution in order to amend the existing resolution in order to achieve that goal.
Mr. Thornton?
Yeah, I'm just thinking here, it's probably a legal question, and I understand what you're requesting there, and I'd probably be in favor of that. I'm just thinking down the road, if one such property owner, after it was subdivided, didn't pay their land tax on it, and didn't develop it as was originally scheduled, and walked away from it and didn't pay the land tax for 2 or 3 years, it was in arrears, normally the county takes steps to auction off that property or something like that. I would imagine the adjacent surviving owners of the other lots might want to purchase that. And if they did, would they automatically assume the benefits of the original LERTA on that singular plot? Or would a new LERTA have to be considered since the old one walked away from it? I don't know how that would work.
So right now, with the LERTA, the way it was approved, it was not approved with the concept of subdividing it into 6 parcels. That's a new concept since you approved it, since the council that was in at that time approved it. So what they're discussing is the LERTA right now, since it was only contemplated to be one piece of property, if that owner failed to pay, they would lose their LERTA. So before losing the property or anything like that, they would lose the benefit of the LERTA. So now what they're asking for is, if it's subdivided, we'd basically be giving 6 LERTAs, and if one of those 6 LERTAs doesn't pay, only that property owner would lose their LERTA, and not everybody. Whatever we do in addition to that is not what they're discussing. That would be a different remedy for us outside of the LERTA remedy. Is that what you're asking for?
You described it accurately, and I think you're absolutely correct that as far as a tax sale situation goes, if taxes are not paid for an extended period of time, certainly the county would have the opportunities to sell it as a tax sale, whether one of the other property owners wanted to jump in there, and how it would affect the LERTA exemption thereafter really is not at issue with this resolution.
Ms. McDermott?
Trying to get the microphone over. This doesn't have to do with you, but more on our end for the county. Going further, should we have this kind of language in there saying that the property can't be sold or subdivided?
So it's up to council. We were not told this is going to be subdivided. So the language is correct for a regular LERTA. That's the language that we always use. We don't prepare them. The developer provides them to us, but they use the same state language, the state act. So right now, the issue is the LERTA going to follow in the subdivision? I mean, right now, I guess they could subdivide it, but they would have the problem that they're trying to remedy. So it would be as if it were one owner, which is what we approved, the council that was in session at the time, that one group, if it stopped paying, it would lose its LERTA. So now what would happen is, if they subdivided it and that went through, if one group, whoever bought one of those properties, stopped paying, everybody would lose their LERTA.
Mr. Lescavich, then Mr. Thornton, sorry.
If I'm understanding this correctly, back then they approved one LERTA, and now you're looking for 6 separate to be converted. But yes.
That's the way of describing it. Yes.
Correct.
But
I mean,
it's all for the same project, though.
It doesn't matter. What was originally done was done. So then I think what you need to do is come back and ask for a new one, and not change one that was done in 2020 or whenever it was done.
I don't understand understand why it wouldn't just be an amendment to the existing one, because we're talking about the same land.
Did this person pay any taxes so far in all these years?
They pay the land tax every year. No improvements have happened yet.
No, I understand that.
Yeah.
Mr. Thornton and then Mr.
Yeah.
Sabatino.
I'm going to go back to my original question. I understand what you and Mr. Attorney Skeen said. That's the first half of the equation, that we'd be offering remedy to the surviving 5 plot owners for the mistakes, or whatever you want to call it, of the 6th property owner that walked away from the land. And then I'm just looking at down the road after that. Let's say we grant that remedy here. That helps out the other 5 property owners immediately. I'm wondering, Attorney Skeen, is the county here under any obligation after that to develop a new LERTA when that 6th property is bought again after the landlord walked away and the county offered it up for tax sale? Are we obligated by the old LERTA on that 6th plot, or is that canceled automatically, and then we consider a new LERTA? How does that work down the road?
That landowner would lose their LERTA for not paying taxes, and then they would have to reapply. Somebody else would have to reapply to get that LERTA.
A new LERTA for that plot? Okay. Thanks.
Mr. Sabatino?
As I understand it, this was approved 4 years ago, so they're already 4 years into the LERTA. If we give them new LERTAs, we'd start the clock on them again. Am I wrong in that? No?
No, we
Mr.
we can range that to
Could
6
be
years.
6
We don't
years,
have to
okay.
have it 10.
Yeah,
The other
but-
side of it too was this LERTA 0 for 10 years?
I believe so.
Yeah, see, and the ones we've been doing on this current council, we've never been given that.
No. So I would agree with Councilman Lescavich, where they would have to come and reapply for LERTAs for all the subdivided land.
Ms. McDermott?
Just one more question, because we approved the LERTA for the builder, which is the Hazelton Creek Commerce Center Holdings.
Yes.
So who are all the new owners? You know, we would have to know who they are.
Well, I mean,
You know, we gave that to the.
it's still the same property owner.
Still the s-
There's just some
Different
equity
subdivisions.
changes within the LLC.
Thank you.
Any other questions from council members?
Yeah,
Mr.
if I could,
Haas?
Mr. Chair, yeah. I'm one of the people that voted against this in 2021, 4 years ago already. And we're just in a different time, a different place with our economy, with everything happening. I would really like to see the firms come together, your firm and your other principals that wanted to develop this property and renegotiate the LERTA. I really think that's the most appropriate, the most clean way to do this. This property has been very controversial, as everybody knows, over the past 20 years. I would feel more comfortable taking that to the taxpayers.
Any other comments from council members? All right. Thank you very much.
When
yeah,
will this be on the agenda next?
I mean, it could be on the agenda as soon as 2 weeks from now if,
Okay.
if you're intending to seek any other type of remedy or amendments or take
Okay.
the suggestions of any of the council members, then we obviously can have another work session. We can send this to committee. We can do all kinds of things with it.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
yep.
I'll work with Harry in the
Yeah.
meantime.
If I could too, Mr. Chair, just chime
Go
in.
ahead.
And Mr. Schutte, if you could take this back to the property owners, if you could develop a better scale for the LERTA, because as Mr. Lescavich said, what this is, this Keystone Opportunity Zone, 10 years free tax abatement, that's essentially not a LERTA. That's just a KOZ by a different name, and nobody's fooled by that. So I would feel more comfortable not moving this forward, Mr. Chair, for the next voting session, if you could negotiate with the management and just get us a better schemata. I think I'd really appreciate. I think a lot of councilmen would too, council members.
Mr. Thornton?
Yeah, and just to be fair to you and your partners, if you insist, and we could, Mr. Chair, here, could put it on the agenda in 2 weeks, but I'm just kind of taking the temperature here, of what I'm hearing.
Oh, I understand.
And
I-
you might not want to do that,
Yep,
so.
I completely understand.
I think
just
follow
wa-
Mr.
I just-
Haas's advice
yeah,
would be a
I
good
just-
idea.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure I relayed the correct information back.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Sabatino, you have something? Or you?
Well, I was just going to say, we should take our time at the next infrastructure meeting and come up with a fee schedule, so they have a basis to go off of what we would approve eventually, you know, so.
All right.
And
Any other
then-
questions from council members? All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Number 6, discussion regarding the ordinance amending Article 6 Administrative Code in accordance with the Home Rule Charter of Luzerne County, Pennsylvania. This is going
Dan-
to be for, go ahead, sorry. Manager
Dan
Corcoran.
Reese will be coming to the podium to do a specific overview of what we're trying to achieve. But this is something that I actually I brought up in numerous presentations before council and the Government Study Commission. We are looking at our departments and really trying to make them more efficient. And part of that is basically merging some departments. We did that with EMA and 911. We can do trainings together. They communicate better with one another. And this is something that these two departments are departments that really need to be working together and actually unified. So Dan, why don't you go into more of the particulars?
Yeah, so thank you, Romilda, and thank you, County Council, for letting me speak tonight. Like Romilda said, we're trying to do some efficiencies here within the county's government, and two departments that would work very well together are the GIS mapping department and the planning and zoning department. Right now, a lot of the work that we do in the GIS department, we do in order to assist the planning and zoning department. And as you know, I've been filling in as the interim planning and zoning director for going on, what now, 11 months? And for all of 2024, there was hardly anyone applying for any of the positions in there, and some of the ones that did apply, from my understanding, weren't eligible, or didn't have the knowledge or requirements in order to run the department. So, we had been speaking internally, and even back last May, Romilda asked me if we wanted to merge the departments, and I had my hesitancy towards it. But really, these are two departments that it's a really good fit. The only caveat is GIS and mapping is in the Administrative Services division, planning and zonings and operations. When the charter was made, in 2010, they kind of put GIS in Administrative Services because it fell, they weren't sure where to put it at that period of time. So that's kind of why it fell under the Administrative Services. But, just to summarize some of the reasons why we're talking about doing this is, combining these departments will offer enhanced decision-making and improved planning processes for the planning department. Staff in both offices will benefit from integration, as it will allow them to further their knowledge of the other offices' department processes. So we'd be able to do cross-training. Right now, we only have one zoning analyst. We had two for most of the time that I was over there, but one just left the end of February, beginning of March, to seek a higher paying position and in a place where she had interned in the past too. So it wasn't a surprise, but it's hard to, there's a shortage of planners right now. So if we can cross-train some of the GIS analysts to help out in the planning and zoning department, at least when it comes to zoning, that would help alleviate some of the issues and congestion within the department. Another issue, and this has been one that's been my biggest talking point the entire time I've been filling in as the planning and zoning director, is the fact that our Metropolitan Planning Organization, our MPO, is staffed by Lackawanna County Planning and Luzerne County Planning. There hasn't been much leadership involved with the MPO in the last 8 years, at least as long as I've been here. And prior to moving back to Luzerne County, I worked for an MPO. I was a transportation planner on many levels working for that MPO in Fredericksburg, Virginia. And that wasn't the the poster child for MPOs and planning, but there were a lot of things that we were able to implement and bring over to our MPO. One of them was we started putting together a new member orientation manual, which is, you know, it's still a work in progress. It takes time to put together a document like that, but it's to educate MPO board members, elected officials from both counties, and from the general public, just to understand the metropolitan planning process and how we help help improve the transportation infrastructure in the region. It's kind of hard, like right now we're updating our 2050 long-range transportation plan. And you're probably wondering, how do you even look out 25 years? And it's hard. You know, we're looking at demographics and we're looking at market shifts, and you know, we have a consultant, Michael Baker International, has been helping us with that. But you know, that's one thing that's been very important to me since I've been filling in there. So just one of the things, by merging the departments, we'd be able to at least help maintain the integrity of the MPO and at least make it stronger, and hopefully in the future we'd be able to take on more of the planning tasks that we have been putting out towards consultants, just because we didn't have the institutional knowledge or the you know, understanding of the process in the past. So you know, and these are two planners use GIS a lot, not necessarily here, but that's something that we've been working more with. One of the zoning analysts that's there now, he's been very interested in learning. You know, he has educational background in GIS. We've been working on giving him a license so that he can update the county zoning layer, because in the past 20 years there have been some zoning changes that were approved by, you know, council, and prior to that the commissioners, that were mapped in the planning and zoning office, but on paper it was never done on the GIS system. So those things fell through the cracks. We didn't know that until we did an audit of all of the zoning changes that have been done in the past. So you know, it's just combining the departments gets rid of the middleman, really. We do work hand in hand with the planning and zoning department. So we scan all of the subdivision maps that come over that are recorded in the Recorder of Deeds office. They're approved by planning and zoning. It'd be a one-stop shop, just being able to have your planning map approved, recorded, and then scanned in all in one office. Well, with the help of the Recorder of Deeds office. So yeah, I mean, if you have any questions, it just seems like this is something that makes more sense the more it's been going on.
Ms. McDermott?
Just a question. I know the GIS was downstairs here. Did that move yet, or will it?
No.
It'll move over to Penn Place, or
Potentially.
vice versa?
There's some logistic issues. I mean, I've been going back and forth between both offices now for 11 months.
But you should be able to combine them, you think, or no?
That's the ultimate goal. A part of me doesn't want to make major shifts until the Pennsylvania Economy League does their analysis, because especially moving something like GIS mapping over to Penn Place, they have a lot of equipment. We have to find the space. So I'm apprehensive to do major moves like that until we get a recommendation from the Pennsylvania Economy League. But this is just the first step. To be honest and absolutely upfront, we need a separate division and to bring in other departments, because this will make communications easier and more efficient. We'll be able to streamline staffing with cross-training, and these departments, along with the would go into this division that I have a vision for, really will support our infrastructure. Infrastructure is not just road and bridges. Infrastructure is developing the plans and zoning. That all goes into infrastructure, and that all goes into economic development. So this is the first step. towards that goal. We can't create a division while the government study is going on. And so we have to wait for whatever happens after the Government Study Commission is finished and a new charter is voted on. But we can do this unification right now and really get the ball rolling.
Ms. Stevenson?
I have a couple questions after your statement, Manager Kokomo. So this sounds amazing, Dan. This sounds like this is going to maximize efficiency across the board, especially having GIS mapping, planning and zoning, having that loop of communication with infrastructure. It sounds great. I legitimately cannot think of any consequences to the combining of these areas. But when you said new division, can you elaborate on that a little more? I think I missed some pieces there.
When I made my presentation before the Government Study Commission, I can't really recall what I called it. It was
I don't think
division
we
of.
had I don't think there was a name for it.
It
yet.
really wasn't a name, but it was a
Yeah.
division of planning, zoning, mapping, infrastructure. It was something like that.
All right, we'll come up with something.
So,
good.
yeah, I'll come up with something, but really, there's a number of departments that should be in there. I think community development was one of them.
Yeah.
So we really need to create a division where it's all in one place. One division head overseeing all these plans. We have to wait for the Government Study Commission to be
Okay.
done to do something like that.
Okay, and then with one portion being like administration, the other being operations, what does that look like fiscally, like as we sort of
I think we'll be
plan that
saving,
idea?
I can't give you numbers right now, but if we do cross-training, we'll be saving money, and there are positions that we just have not been able to fill. If we do the cross-training and we streamline this department and the workforce, we'll be able to actually have more competitive salaries where we bring people in, rather than having these kind of silo job descriptions. So that's the plan.
Thank you.
Mr. Sabatino?
Would, I know the new division is far off, but
Mhm.
would the new division include something like environmental services and community development? and-
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Thank you.
Any other questions from council members?
For
Mr.
now, it's going to be in operations?
Yeah, right now, that's the fit. If you look at our administrative services, and God bless Jim, if you look at all the departments that were thrown into administrative services, there is no rhyme or reason for them. And we need to have a rhyme and a reason for our divisions and the departments that are in the divisions.
All right. Any other questions? Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Reese.
Thanks, Dan.
Okay. Finally, we have an affordable housing presentation by Rashida Lovely.
Good evening, council members, and thank you for the opportunity to speak today. My name is Rashida Lovely, and I'm a small business owner and the CEO of a nonprofit that's actually located in Lackawanna County. I represent roughly 15 organizations, small businesses, social service providers, farms who are looking to put together an affordable housing project. And so this project is one that focuses on green energy. It also focuses on green technology, which includes blockchain innovation. As you know, Luzerne County, like much of Pennsylvania, is experiencing a growing housing crisis. Rising construction costs, energy expenses, and limited inventory have made it increasingly difficult for working families, seniors, and young professionals to find sustainable, affordable homes. We believe that this challenge cannot be solved in the traditional methods. Our vision is to see a new model of housing be brought online, which offers rents at median household incomes of target cities, net zero energy use, as well as net zero utility bills. And also a decentralized energy monitoring system, which would be powered by blockchain technology. This would ensure transparency, efficiency, and long-term cost savings for both residents and the local government. So there's a couple of key features. So we're looking for these new homes that will come online to be built with passive housing design, which would get us some reduced energy use. And we all know that our utility grids are being overly utilized. And so this would be one of the ways we can reduce energy use. We would also like to incorporate green energy, such as solar power, smart grid technology, as well as geothermal systems, because we do live in a solar alone cannot do the trick. And we also want to incorporate atmospheric water generators. So on the smart monitoring side, we would like to incorporate within each housing unit IoT sensors and systems that were developed called Bloop. And it's the Bloxy ledger for optimized operations and protocol. It will track energy use and carbon savings and will offer residents insight and control over their utilities, as well as feeding anonymized data into a blockchain ledger. So the economic opportunity. This project will bring local jobs in construction because we will require at least 50% of all new jobs that are created will have to be in the target cities in which these housing units will be brought online. And so that's the general idea of how the project will work. And what we're asking for from Luzerne County folks is to help us with guidance, permitting guidance, potential collaboration in infrastructure planning. And my final thought before any questions, if there are any, this project isn't just about building homes, it's about building resilience, creating opportunity, and setting a new standard for how communities can grow sustainably. Luzerne County has the chance to be a leader in this transformation, and we welcome partnership, and we would be happy to present further technical and financial details at your convenience.
Thank you very much. Council members, questions? Go ahead, Mr. Thorne.
Yeah, thank you for your presentation. I have a couple questions. Is this a pilot program, or is this projects you've been doing already in other areas, or?
So this would be a pilot program. How we have it set now, 2025 was meant to be a year for administration, building relationships, partnerships, and 2026 was meant to be a year for the initial pilot. We are doing new construction in Lackawanna County, and our goal is to do rehab here in Luzerne County. We don't want to put that many online because we want to focus on the technology integration to make sure it works. And then once we get all the kinks out in 2027, we would like to introduce this at a larger scale and bring on developers who could then see a way forward as far as like financially.
I see. So I think nobody would second guess our motives here. Everybody around the table wants housing affordable to everybody. And I'm just curious. Now, you said you're bringing on your developers who want to participate and develop. Is that what you're doing?
So we have a regional committee, which is made up of engineers, contractors. We have Simpson from the Carpenters Union, and we have community organizations that will all come together, and they will make the decision of who comes on board to do the development, who we bring in as far as like the technology portions and the green energy portions. So they will have the ultimate decision-making power, and like I said, it's about roughly 15 different folks that will be making that decision, and they're across Lackawanna, Luzerne, Wycoming, Carbon, in Monroe counties.
And the final question I have, Mr. Chair, it's just an idea or concept you're floating by Luzerne County officials tonight, or does your vision include down the road Luzerne County adopting some type of formal legislation here with requirements of the building industry and to ensure that they build to certain codes such as, building green construction and certain types of clean energy, as you said. Is that what you're seeking from council down the road here?
Ultimately, we're looking to introduce legislation at the state level. We are talking to the state reps about that now, and we are looking for support for that, because ultimately what we'd like to see, if anyone, if any developers come and maybe they're looking for tax abatements or any type of grants, that they would be required to put passive housing design as part of their development, so that we can guarantee that the utility bills are either zero or close to, and that we could reduce energy costs, because ultimately just as far as the rents being affordable, it's not enough. Utility bills are out of control, and so is food. So we need to get the cost of everything down, and that's one of the ways we can do that.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Lovely, I just have one or two questions.
Sure.
So you mentioned that in this, you're having discussions with multiple counties. You're doing new construction?
Yes.
That's the intent, or is that already happening?
So we've started that. We've acquired land, and we are working with the Land Bank, Department of Economic Development, and we're starting that process now. We should be working to start building next year. And again, the goal here is not to do new construction. It's very expensive. We're looking to do rehabilitations here, and it's actually a good idea to do different types of models in different counties so that we can get a better idea of how this thing will work in general.
Okay, that was part of my other question, is that you're planning new construction in Lackawanna and you're wanting to do rehab type construction here in Luzerne.
Yes.
You should certainly reach out to our land banks as well, because they have numerous properties that can be rehabbed into what you're looking for. I did have one other question. I know you mentioned before about getting utility costs down to zero or close to zero. How would you balance that with the expense of, say, whatever these green energy technologies are? Because as we all know, they are fairly expensive, especially in a local residential housing situation. How do you balance that?
So in the pilot, we are not actually looking to do single-family homes. We're looking to do apartment buildings because that we can work to scale there. And then in 2027, our goal will be to come up with a better plan for single families, because this model does not work for single-family homes at this time.
Okay, thank you very much. That answered all my questions. Anybody else have questions? Ms. Krishnowski, do you have a question?
Well, I kind of had what you were I just can't believe you're doing everything green. That is just so fantastic. I just have to say that right up front. And I wish you all the luck in the world, and if anything I can do to help, I would. But moving forward, you're trying to do apartments first, and then houses secondhand. Is this going to be like a traditional transitional housing, or are these permanent homes, or like what's the idea behind them?
So initially, because it's a pilot, our goal is to create apartments that will help for families. So we're looking for what we call place-based housing. We would like to find properties that are near institutions, so we have some type of anchoring, like we have in Scranton. And if I give that as an example, in the city of Scranton, where South Intermediate is, we've acquired the land there, and the goal is to build 3-bedroom apartments for families so that the children can kind of just walk across the street and go to school. And this is another way to get the walkability index higher, and carbon emissions lower. And so we would be looking to do that type of housing initially. So wherever we were able to secure some properties here, we would have the same type of model. And then after that, once we're able to scale it out, then we'll be looking for transitional if necessary, or whatever is needed for the demographics.
Any other questions? All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Public comment? Mr. Griffith?
Good evening, Council. I want to tack on to Mr. Haas's concern about the run-back machine. I would too was at the demonstration with Mr. Sabatino. The question I have is, I think the funding is an issue. The money's coming from the election integrity grant. That budget that was given to council, or was not given to council, I don't really know. I don't think that $12,000 was allocated in that budget for that. So my question for council as the fiduciary responsibility of this county, did we authorize as a council to spend $12,000 from the election integrity grant to buy a drop box that's not legislatively authorized by the General Assembly? That's the first question. The second question that I have about the drop box is it's no different than the ones we're using currently, except that it has a camera. And to Mr. Scavige's point, I put my hand over the camera. I tested that very issue. And then I was told that there's cameras in the lobby. Well, if there's cameras in the lobby, why do we need the machine? It's doing the same thing. And there's no safeguard to stop more people from dropping more than one ballot in that box at any given moment. And that's what the outcry has been from the public at every meeting for the election board since the boxes were put in 2021. There's no safeguards for people to drop more than one ballot in that box, even the one with the camera. Other than the scanning the ballot, which is actually nothing, if you come in with a Post-it note and put it over the camera, you're just not going to see anything. And if you're going to rely on the camera in the lobby, isn't that what we did with the metal box? And the metal box cost us $1,000 or more. We bought 4 of them. There's 2 sitting in the warehouse that's not even being used that we have so we could offset the cost of the ones that we bought. What's the maintenance agreement on that run-back machine? It's a $12,000 machine, but I'm sure there's a maintenance agreement on it. I would think. It's an electronic machine, so they're going to hit us for maintenance agreement. I just don't see the reason to buy the machine. It's not any different than the metal ones. Really, it's not. Other than having electronic gadgetry that says, ooh, ah, when you put your ballot in. That's about the only thing I see that's a benefit. So if it's beneficial and it's great, and the ballot that goes in is scanned, and you can't put more than one in, and it's a security issue, I get all of that. But as I demonstrated, and Mr. Sabatino was there with other people, I don't see that happening. So I put the questionnaire in the slot instead of a ballot. And the question was, well, yeah, you could do that, but it doesn't count. That's not my issue. My issue is who's tampering with the machine. That was my issue. And if we can't make sure that the machine's not being tampered with, what's the sense of spending $12,000 of taxpayers' money from the grant that we could be using from the grant to fund issues that we need to do with the grant, like hiring more poll workers or hiring more staff in the Bureau to get the staffing levels down. Those kind of things are the issue. So just consider that. I think this council needs to be more proactive and pass legislation that says we won't spend money
Thank you, Mr.
on drop
Griffith.
boxes.
Thank you.
I don't want to turn this into a political debate because this is a decision that the board needs to make, and I'm not running for office. The monies are not from the election integrity grant that are being used. It's general fund monies.
All right. Anybody else for public comment in the audience? Mr. Lescavage, we have a couple.
I think everybody would agree that Brian Thornton should give his microphone to Ms. McDermott.
That'll be in the executive session next time. All right. We have Mr. Rabo.
Mr. Chair, can you hear me? This is Mark Rabo of Hazelton speaking.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First of all, I'd like to thank you and council for, and especially council members Lescavage and Hawes for saying what they said about the developer, having to come back with a new, to renegotiate a new LRTA, because as was stated in 2021, when the developer came in front of council, he barely answered any questions to that council with regards to the contaminants that were dumped into the old city landfill to be reclaimed, and if there would be any problems with respect to when the ground is broken in terms of buildings being developed on that parcel or any parcel on that property. So I think the council needs to make it very clear to the public, especially to the people who live in South Hazelton City, that their groundwater is not going to be impacted if the once ground is broken for the construction. I hope the council will and Office of Law will find out, and Manager Crocamo will find that out definitively. With respect to the presentation on affordable housing, Mr. Chairman, this sounds like the pie in the sky theory that was given by the Institute in their report to council a few months back with respect to the housing situation. I mean, they also made pie in the sky theories. They even said that illegal conversions of single family homes into rental units was a good thing. I mean, Mr. Chairman, come on. I mean, to have blockchain energy utilized, I mean, for energy purposes for even apartment buildings, if that isn't pie in the sky, I got a bridge to West Nanticoke to sell you for $1. Okay? So if you really believe that, I don't know what to tell you, but I believe fossil fuels right now is the cheapest, most efficient way of providing energy to apartment buildings as we speak. I mean, once maybe if Elon Musk could create something that has blockchain energy or any kind of renewable energy that could sustain an apartment building more so than fossil fuels, I'll be willing to hear it.
Mr. Rabo.
But until then I think that's pie in the sky. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Rabo. I do have one email that we received. This is from Carol Rosser from Ross Township. Dear Luzerne County Council, I'm a resident of Ross Township and have recently been informed that our county is in possession of monies to improve roads and access to bikes in our township. Value of $776,500 from the multimodal program and a promised match of $232,960 from Luzerne County. I understand that the current designation for these monies has been focused on creating a bike/walk lane on Broad Road from Skirrett Road to Booth Road for approximately 1+ mile. I have lived in the township for 25 years and traveled this portion of Broadway Road numerous times. I have never seen anyone biking or walking for recreation this portion of the roadway. This area includes a steep, curvy hill named Ledge Hill and is sparsely populated with no parking benefits for those who support their exercise here. If we are going to utilize this money in the most efficient manner, it would make sense to evaluate the need of such a plan. This area of Broadway Road is not utilized as an area of recreation, so let's not waste precious resources of funds on it. Instead, I propose creating the bike/walk lane in an area that has been well established recreation area in Ross Township for many years. On Main Road, Sweet Valley, which continues directly into Broadway Road, we have Ross Township Park. It has parking and baseball diamonds, and following west from there for approximately a mile, we have the Fish Commission recreation area at Harris Pond. We have a walking trail behind the Church of Christ, and we have the Sweet Valley Fire Hall, where every year Memorial Day Fair happens. People are always walking along the stretches of Main Road and biking. This would approximate 1+ miles as well. Or if you would start a bike/walk lane at the Ross Elementary School, folks could park there and bike/walk back and forth, traveling east towards the fire hall for exercise. This would also create a safe space for pedestrians and fair attendees, as our parade route follows this direction. I have walked these paths frequently myself. These suggestions would be a much more appreciated and worthwhile use of these funds. At one time, Sweet Valley had a small section of sidewalk in these areas, and it would be nice to have such an accommodation now. I feel my proposal would also fit well in timing with the long-range promised reconstruction repaving of Sweet Valley Main Road, in which you are currently putting out bids for, or at least I sincerely hope you are. As a resident of this small township, I certainly will be happy to see these two projects take shape in the near future. Thank you for securing to make it happen. I urge you to consider my input, wisely making these decisions to benefit most of the citizens of Ross Township. All right. Anything else from Mr. Haas?
Before we adjourn, Mr. Chair, I just want to celebrate one of our own, Alan Stout from the Tourist Bureau. He's been inducted into the Luzerne County Arts and Entertainment Hall of Fame. So I think we can adjourn with that good news tonight.
Yeah.
That would be great.
All right. Yeah. Rock and roll. Congrats, Alan. Alan does an amazing job at the Tourism Bureau. Just what he's done with Rockin' the River, Rockin' the Mountain alone is to be commended. All right.
On that good word, motion to adjourn, Mr. Chair.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting's adjourned. Thank you very much.